everyone, it's Vritzien. With episode 4 comes the true start of Ice Queendom's story, and not even Rooster Teeth neglecting to include subtitles is gonna stop me from commenting on it. On that, by the way, what exactly is the point of Rooster Teeth posting the episodes on their site before Crunchyroll if the subtitles aren't even gonna be available till after the Crunchyroll premiere anyways? Why would I, when I can't even trust that I'll be able to actually watch it on time? But moving on to the actual episode itself, it's absolutely an improvement from the first 3. So what's the plot here? It begins with RWBY waking up in the nightmare, using the coins given to her through Shion's semblance to create checkpoints, decoys, and maps, as well as to contact the professor. RWBY infiltrates and explores the multi-tiered fortress city until eventually skirmishing with Weiss at the end of the episode. During that time, RWBY witnesses a raid on a dust train by Grimm-like White Fang members, the slave-like conditions of the workers in the outer factory sections of the town, and the rumor mill that is the upper class sections. At the same time, Weiss is tasked with detaining RWBY to uphold her responsibilities as a Shin'i heiress. Given that this episode is primarily establishing the new world of the Nightmare, my focus was directed primarily on the world building. The most notable piece of that to me was Shion explaining that the people of the Nightmare are representative of what Weiss perceives them to be. While the full scope of that remains to be seen, there's still a fair amount that we do get. Firstly, and most prominently, the omnipresent posters and statues of Jock is fantastic not only to represent Weiss seeing him as a tyrant, but also as the oppressive Big Brother-esque CEO of the SDC. Secondly, Klein's 7 personalities have been split into 7 butlers, obviously referring to the 7 dwarves of Snow White. In this episode alone, we meet presumably 5 of them, 2 of which are explicitly named, 1 I can fairly confidently guess, and the other 2 being speculative as of right now. Happy Klein is a humanoid robot, Dopey Klein is the door of the Silly's jail, the General is presumably Grumpy, while the Candle and Robodog Klein are the ones I'm unsure about. Going off the remaining dwarves, I would guess Doc is the dog, since Doc is supposed to be the leader, and the Robodog is the one responsible for carrying around Mirror Tanaster as a special mirror book. Candle Klein I'm less sure about, but the closest fit in my opinion would be Sneezy. He's certainly not sleepy, nor would I call him shy, but he doesn't actually end up sneezing though, so perhaps it really is just bashful. Anyways, lastly for this section, I think the choice to have the White Fang being represented as Grimm-like is a great metaphor for Weiss's racism, and complements the reason they wear the Grimm mask in the first place.
I don't get it. If you believe what you're doing is right, why hide who you are?
The masks are a symbol. Humanity wanted to make monsters out of us, so we chose to don the faces of monsters.
Grimm masks? That's kind of dark.
So was the guy who started it.
On the subject of general positive and negatives though, I mostly have positive opinions. I really appreciated the little moment of RWBY taking the time to admire her new version of Crescent Rose. The choice of having Weiss's cutout growing at the expense of RWBY's during their first interaction is great for demonstrating her overbearing Dami-Mami attitude, and the inclusion of Friend's melody as Shion encourages RWBY not to get disheartened by Weiss's attitude fits really well. That said, my main issue with this episode stems from the mechanics of Shion's semblance. I held off discussing it in my last episode, hoping it would be clarified later, but the explanation given here, in my opinion, raises more questions than it answers. Initially, episode 3 describes it as only close friends being able to enter the Nightmare, as anyone else would be rejected by the heart. However, here in episode 4, Shion says that people who don't have characters inside the Nightmare will be recognized as alien. On first glance, that seems fine, right? Shion's explanation from episode 3 gives the impression it wouldn't be possible for non-friends to enter at all. When he says rejected, he's clearly referring to not being able to enter the dream. Something backed up by Glenda when she says why her and Ozpin can't enter the dream. This explanation and context is to justify why RWBY is sent in to find the Grimm herself, but how does that make any sense? Based on the logic that people in the Nightmare are representative of how Weiss sees them, wouldn't that mean Ozpin, Glinda, and to a lesser extent Shion should have characters inside the Nightmare? Team RWBY has been enrolled in Beacon for some time now. Weiss has known Glinda and Ozpin for basically the same amount of time as the rest of Team RWBY. Sure, they wouldn't be close friends, but neither is Blake. So, can non-friends enter or not? The answer is certainly yes, unless Blake never enters the dream, which I highly doubt. I know some might see this as nitpicky, but the stakes of the story hinge on how Shion's semblance actually works within the show. With the logic the show has provided for us so far, there isn't a satisfactory reason why anyone Weiss knows on acquaintance level or closer shouldn't be equally capable of entering the dream. But anyways, what did you guys think of the episode? Let me know in the comments. If you like this video and want to see more like it, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, and I will see you next time.